All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh by Shem, Yahushai by Shem, Rakahak Wadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders and bishops of Great Millstone who rule and teach well, and peace and salutation unto the hopeful elect. This is the brother Bakwasha, and I just want to play this video I ran across, and really it describes the depths. Okay, scripture talks about how Esau seeks out, deep counsel, and wants to hide things from people because that's a form of his darkness. That's a form of his casting of spells, and that's wicked. Number one, okay, and number two, it's also a form of him beguiling and deceiving people. And so I want to read a couple of quick precepts here in the book of Job, the 21st chapter. I'm gonna play this video. I may play the whole thing just because I'm rolling, but ultimately I would appreciate if I can post scriptures, because every brother sees things differently, especially like when viewing information for the first time. And it didn't shock me, but just to see how well it was put together and how it outlines what these Edomites did with the finances that they received from chattel slavery, that they received from the industrial quote unquote revolution. They really went to work, like I said, just casting spells and really setting up this construct, this system, okay, this debt-based system, but then also this informational system, which is really just lies, And so I just want to go into this real quick. I'm gonna read the title of the video, hit this precept, and then I'm gonna let it roll. So the title of this video is called "This Was How They Rigged Education," and this is going into John D. Rockefeller, okay? And they're also going to mention a guy by the name of Gates, okay? And I looked up some stuff on Gates, and it appears as though his lineage and the Rockefeller lineage are at some point intermingled. So the guy by the name of Bill Gates, also his lineage is a part of this Rockefeller system of lies and witchcraft as well, okay? And as scripture says, the wicked are estranged from the womb, okay? They go forth speaking lies as soon as they be born, okay? So I just want to hit that real quick. Let me read the title of Job, the 21st chapter. It says, Job says, Yahweh will deal with the wicked. Job says Yahweh will deal with the wicked. So let me read my first precept here. This is Job 21 and verse 7. It says, wherefore do the wicked live, become old, yea, are mighty in power. And that's what you're going to hear. You're going to hear what these finances have done or have been able to do for these Edomites. And by having these finances, it exalted his name and exalted his philosophy to the point of where it was just commonly accepted. And it also created a divide, okay, of quote unquote church and state, okay, because now the education system that Esau promotes has become a mainstay, almost like a religion, okay? So yeah, let's dive into this real quick.
His business dealings, Rockefeller made sure to get the better end of the bargain. He would donate his great wealth to the creation of public institutions, but those institutions would be used to bend society to his will. As every would-be ruler throughout history has realized, Society has to be transformed from the ground up. Americans in the 19th century still prized education and intellectual pursuits, with the 1840 census finding unsurprisingly that the United States, a nation that had been mobilized by tracts like Thomas Paine's remarkably popular Common Sense, was a nation of readers with a remarkable 93% to 100% literacy rate. Before the first compulsory schooling laws in Massachusetts in 1852, education was private and decentralized, and as a result classical education, including study of Greek and Latin and a solid grounding in history and science, was widespread.
Now, I'm going to pause it here for a quick second, because Esau has been able to dumb things down just to the simplistic language of English. Most people don't speak multiple languages, okay? And obviously we know the Hebrew, is the pure tongue. But I just say that as far as the erosion of being able to really educate and draw out, truth, Esau started to dumb that down because he knew that if there were a nation collectively of people that actually thought for themselves, essentially that those people would be able to identify who he is. And that's why this truth is so damaging, okay? It delivers literally the death blow to Edomite thought process and wickedness, okay?
But a nation of individuals who could think for themselves was anathema to the monopolists. The oligarchs needed a mass of obedient workers, an entire class of people whose intellect was developed just enough to prepare them for lives of drudgery in a factory. Into the midst stepped John D. Rockefeller with his first great act of public charity, the establishment of the University of Chicago. He was aided in this task by Frederick Taylor Gates, a Baptist minister that Rockefeller befriended in 1889 and who would go on to be John D.'s most trusted philanthropic advisor.
So, this is the introduction of the Gates, okay? And like I said, you brothers go do your research. There's a couple of, Esau has to throw his fact checkers out there to try to sway people from diving deeper into, this information. But he befriended this guy, I think he said Thomas Gates. Let me bring it back. And what they created from that coalition was, as they had talked about, a swaying of the people's minds to where they didn't think for themselves, man. And ultimately that leads to a whole serf or servant class of people, okay? And I'm just using that because at the very bottom of that servant class of people, okay, are our people, which have been ousted from any type of acknowledgement of who we are as a people, okay, of who we are as the children of Yahweh Shemi Shai, okay, our pure language, okay, which is the Lashawan Kodash, okay, and then the names of our powers, all right? And all of this, Esau began, in the quote-unquote rebirth or the Renaissance period, where he went throughout the earth, through iconoclasm, destroying of the icons, and literally creating a Hellenistic world that's built off of idolizing him. Okay, so yeah, let's play that again. I'm here to quick precept. But yeah, write down this guy's name, or make a mental note of this guy's name. You brothers go back and see if you can find more and more information tied to him and Rockefeller.
Including study of Greek and Latin and a solid grounding in history and science, was widespread. But a nation of individuals who could think for themselves was anathema to the monopolists. The oligarchs needed a mass of obedient workers, an entire class of people whose intellect was developed just enough to prepare them for lives of drudgery in a factory. Into the midst stepped John D. Rockefeller with his first great act of public charity, the establishment of the University of Chicago. He was aided in this task by Frederick Taylor Gates, a Baptist minister that Rockefeller befriended in 1889 and who would go on to be John Dee's most trusted philanthropic advisor. Gates would go on to write a short tract, The Country School of Tomorrow, that laid out the Rockefeller plan for education. In our dream, we have limitless resources, and the people yield themselves with perfect docility to our molding hand. The present educational conventions fade from our minds, and, unhampered by tradition, we work our own goodwill upon a grateful and responsive folk. We shall not try to make these people or any of their children into philosophers, or men of learning or science. We are not to raise up from among them authors, orators, poets, or men of letters. We shall not search for embryo great artists, painters, musicians, nor will we cherish even the humbler ambition to raise up from among them lawyers, doctors, preachers, politicians, statesmen, of whom we now have ample supply. Although Rockefeller's resources weren't exactly limitless, they might as well have been. In 1902, he established the General Education Board to help implement Gates's vision for the Country School of Tomorrow with a staggering $180 million endowment.
See? And this is what happens, man, when the earth is given into the hand of the wicked, man. Okay? And this is what happened when Esau has been able to roam the earth freely and just do his mischief without any ramifications, man. You know? So let's read this real quick. This is Job 21 and and 17. Yeah, it's a lot. It's not coming all the way through. It says, how oft is the candle of the wicked put out? Okay? And how oft cometh their destruction upon them? Yahweh distributed sorrows in his anger. And Salaki, brothers, I can't necessarily. Let me see if I can slide over one more. Yeah, this one. Let's see back. Yeah, Khan. It says, this is Job 21 and 17. How oft is the candle of the wicked put out? You know, and that candle, you know, represents Esau's philosophies, his lies, you know, the inspiration that he has to do all of these things, to corrupt society, to corrupt the earth, okay? To literally have his imprint on the people, okay? Scripture says, as is the king, so is the people. You know, so is his officers and his rulers, etc., etc. So his world that he's created, and the reason why the candle is being put out is because Yahweh Shemi Shai is taken away and revealing, you know, the devil for who he is, because this man has been glorified beyond measure for wickedness, not for righteousness, but for wickedness. That's why the scripture, the title of Job, the 21st chapter says, Yahweh shall deal with the wicked. Okay, it's not going to be in a good way. Yahweh Shemi Shai is going to destroy these people. All right. It says, how oft is the candle of the wicked put out, and how oft cometh their destruction upon them? Yahweh distributed sorrows in his anger. Okay, because that's what's next, man. Many sorrows are coming to the wicked. All right. Verse 18, it says, they are stubble before the wind, and as chaff that the storm cleareth away. I believe that's what it says. It says, verse 19, Yahweh layeth upon Salaki, Yahweh layeth up his iniquity for his children, he rewarded him, and he shall know it. Okay, so these Esau and these Edomites, they're gonna know that Yahweh Shemi Shai is not playing around, man, because they see that their kingdom is fallen. Verse 20, his eyes shall see his destruction, and he shall drink of the wrath of the Almighty. All right, so let's play one more quick part here.
The Rockefeller influence on education was felt almost immediately, and it was amplified by help from fellow monopolists of the era who were approaching the topic of philanthropy from the same angle. Although best known as a steel magnate, Andrew Carnegie's fortune started on the railroads transporting Rockefeller's Standard Oil around the country, and was greatly magnified by a lucrative investment in property near Oil Creek that provided steady, profitable oil sales. In 1905, he established the Carnegie Foundation for the Advancement of Teaching, a tax-free foundation through which Carnegie and his appointees could direct the development of the education system in the United States and, eventually, worldwide. In 1910, Rockefeller followed suit by establishing the Rockefeller Foundation, which became the tax-free umbrella organization for his philanthropic ambitions. As the Reese Committee, a congressional investigation into the activities of these tax-free foundations in the 1950s, discovered, it wasn't long before Carnegie's endowment approached Rockefeller's foundation with a proposal to cooperate on their shared desire to transform the American education system in their own image. Norman Dodd,
in their own image, okay? Scripture talks about painting a likeness in their own image, and that's essentially what Esau went throughout the earth doing, man. You know, taking everything that was righteous, everything that was natural, everything that was created by Yahweh, by Shemaiah, and literally, I think the word is called vandalism, okay? Literally, and that's the spirit, because I think that some of those old quote-unquote tribes, one of them were called the Vandals, okay? The Viscoths, and there's like maybe 8 or 10 of them. But through the spirit, the reason why I was talking about them vandalizing, because literally that's what Esau has done through his technology, through his lies, through his religion, okay? All of these things have been literally him spray painting on everything that Yahweh Shemaiah has created, and then Esau now calling it a masterpiece, okay? Putting up images of stone idols, you know, tearing down the holy, you know, righteous elements of Yahweh Shemaiah and giving people chemicals, you know, instead of herbs. I mean, it's a laundry list, man, but the education in itself, that's why you can never expect your oppressors, okay, your enemies, to educate you, man, you know. But I guess the point being here is they wanted their image, their likeness, their thought process to be imprinted on the people to control them, okay? Because that's what the word, you know, government goes back into anyway, which is mind control, okay? But once again, when you have all this money and these resources, now everywhere you turn, you don't know it, but their imprint is now influencing you, the people, you know? How much more so them and their wicked philosophies and agendas, man, okay?
Director of Research for the Congressional Committee who was granted access to the Carnegie Endowment's board minutes, explains.
So they approach the Rockefeller Foundation with the suggestion that that portion of education which could be considered domestic be handled by the Rockefeller Foundation, and that portion which is international should be handled by the endowment. And they then decide that the key to the success of these two operations lay in an alteration of the teaching of American history. So they approach 4 of the then most prominent teachers of American history in the country, people like Charles and Mary Bird, and their suggestion to them is, will they alter the manner in which they present this subject, and they get turned down flat. So they then decide that it is necessary for them to do, as they say, build our own stable of historians. And then they approach the Guggenheim Foundation, which specializes in fellowships, and say, when we find young men in the process of studying for doctorates in the field of American history, and we feel that they are the right caliber. Will you grant them fellowships on our say-so? And the answer is yes. So under that condition, eventually they assemble 20. And they take this 20 potential teachers of American history to London, and there they're briefed into what is expected of them when, as and if they secure appointments in keeping with the doctorates they will have earned. And that group of 20 historians ultimately becomes the nucleus of the American Historical Association. And toward the end of the 1920s, the endowment grants to the American Historical Association $400,000 for a study of our history in a manner which points to what can this country be, can it look forward to in the future. And that culminates in a 7-volume study, the last volume of which is, of course, in essence a summary of the contents of the other 6. And the essence of the last volume is the future of this country belongs to collectivism administered with characteristic American efficiency.
Collectivism. I'm gonna let him say it one more time. Basically, it's a form of socialism.
The future of this country belongs to collectivism administered with characteristic American efficiency.
Collectivism administered with characteristic American efficiency, which is wickedness. Okay, ultimately the culmination of all of the hodgepodge of Esau's wicked agenda being thrusted through the earth, man. You know, so like I said, I just wanted to play that video because it shows how education, especially by these Edomites, is really just indoctrination, you know, and that indoctrination leads to more and more wickedness, you know. That's why, hey, Yahweh Shemi Shai is putting Esau, the so-called white man, and these other heathen nations right in the crosshairs, man. You know, this is Job 21:29. It says, have ye not asked them that go by the way, and do ye not know the tokens that the wicked are reserved to the day of destruction? They shall be brought forth to the day of wrath. Verse 31, it says, who shall declare his way to his face, and who shall repay him what he hath done? And this is Yahweh Shemi Shai, man. You know, that's why these words, you know, the men of Yahweh Shemi Shai, the hopeful elect, out here preaching Esau's downfall, man. Hey, it's happening, Nakim. It's happening, okay? And sooner than what we believe, okay? Verse 32, yet shall he be brought to the grave and shall remain in the tomb, you know? So, yeah, all of these things are being revealed, and Esau, the so-called white man, the rest of these other heathen nations, 2/3 of our people, they got judgment before them, man, and Lord willing, we have deliverance. So with that, just want to say shalom.